Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Motherwell sack their manager, Mark McGhee. Clint Hill says a third place finish would be a success for Rangers. And Hibs add Ambrose and McLean to their defence. Just a few of the talking points on the programme tonight, and we will also feature the quarter-final draw for the Scottish Junior Cup coming up in the next part of the programme. Delighted to host that event. We always like to keep our eye on the juniors as well. But the main news: Motherwell sack manager Mark McGhee. Too soon, in my opinion, Ruffy.
Yeah, obviously two bad results. But again, we speak about it on the show on numerous occasions. When you start getting fans protesting outside, the people in charge get itchy feet. And sometimes they don't know how to deal with it, and that's the reaction that they do go down, is usually sack the manager. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Mark's been there a long time. I think if you cast your mind back to the beginning of the season, he had no complaints about the budgets that he was put under. You know, he says, look, I know my budgets aren't as good as anybody else's. I'm quite happy to go in here and do a job. So there were restraints there for him. You know, he had to bring obviously a lot of young boys in, which 2 or 3 of them were becoming very, very good players for the future. But sometimes it's results that get you the sack. But I think it was basically that protest that was outside the stadium at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, here's the statement from Motherwell Football Club. The decision taken by the board following consultation with the Welsh Society comes after a disappointing run of results culminating in Saturday's loss at home to Dundee. Stephen Robinson, flanked by assistant James McFadden and under-20s boss Stephen Craigan, have agreed to take temporary charge whilst a permanent manager is recruited as swiftly as possible. The club wishes to thank Mark for his work during his second spell at Fir Park, particularly getting the club into the top 6 during the 2015-2016 season, and wish him every success in the future. Okay, 9 games won, lost 17, drawn 6, and 1 win in the last 7 games. Obviously, the heavy defeat to Dundee at home won't have helped. The thrashing up at Pittodrie, and of course, off the back of that little fracas with a fan in the stand. But I must admit, they're sitting 10th, 24 points, a couple above Inverness and 3 above Hamilton Accies. I genuinely am now curious to see who they're going to get in, because Mark had all the experience in the world, and I think even for his first spell he deserved better than this.
Well, you're saying 1 out of 7. There are other managers in the league who haven't got as good a record as that. I mean, there are certain managers at clubs in the Premier League, you know, had like 1 win in 12, 1 win in 14. So it is a panic decision. Obviously, the 2 results coming so near each other. But I'm like you. I thought Mark could have turned it around. There are fixtures coming up. Okay, it was a bad result at the weekend at home, but there are fixtures coming up that they're capable of winning.
I mean, I would imagine Alan Burrows, the general manager, would have provided some kind of balanced view on this. Do you think this is an indication of what happens when you get to a situation where supporters have a greater sway? Because, you know, sometimes you get 200 fans outside a stadium. That's not necessarily the broad opinion of all the fan base.
No, you're right. You know, but we've said it, when that kind of abuse gets targeted not only at the club but at the people in charge, you know, they then have to obviously hastily hold a meeting and say, right, what are we going to do about this? And then when it goes to a board meeting, you've got 2 fractions there. You know, you don't know. We've heard it so many times when you go into board meetings and there's decisions being made and it's split decisions. You know, and I don't know how many's on the 2 boards, but certainly I would love to know if it was a unanimous decision.
Yep, okay. The early runners and riders, Ruffy, Jim Duffy, Steve Robinson himself has been brought back by Mark McGhee, Barry Ferguson, Alan Stubbs, Stephen Craigan, Billy Davis, Simo Valakari. The early names mentioned with this job.
Well, certainly in the past it's been a good job to be at. It's been a stepping stone for a lot of managers. I mean, Mark used it to his advantage, Alec McLeish used it to his advantage. Obviously Craig Brown's been there, but not to use it to his advantage. So Motherwell is a place where, if you are a young manager, you can use it as a stepping stone to get to a bigger club.
Okay, interesting times ahead for Motherwell. Interestingly enough, that with regards to the Rangers job, I noticed Derek Ferguson, who was speaking ahead of the William Hill Scottish Cup tie between Rangers and Hamilton at the weekend, mentioned that Rangers really should step up their efforts to get a manager in sooner rather than later, and had a little pop at the board. The bookies suddenly have Alec Neil as one of the favourites to come in as the manager now.
Well, I thought when you're going for the director of football job, that's the kind of manager who would work with a director of football. If you start going for a De Boer or some really, really experienced manager in charge, they would work with a director of football, but I think that partnership works a lot better with a younger manager and somebody who's on the same wavelength. So, well, I mean, he's doing reasonably well at Norwich. Obviously, he's trying to get into the playoff position, but it'll be a big decision.
Yep, okay. We'll keep our eye on that one. What do you make of Clint Hill? He now has mentioned that he reckons Rangers finishing third would be a success.
Well, that's still Europe. Europe is where they want to be. I think not getting into Europe would be a disaster. And I think the fans have been very loyal just now. You haven't heard any reaction whatsoever. But I think if Europe was taken away from them, that would be a big save for them.
Yep, Graham Murty's going to be in charge for this game, the weekend as well. Could be in the seat for the game against Celtic on March 12th, and the caretaker boss quite happy to sit in the seat for as long as possible.
I felt I wasn't being impactful to the players, then I would feel more than comfortable going to the board and saying, you need to replace me. As it happens, the board have been fantastically supportive. All they're asking me again is, can we help you? There are a group of people who've been made accessible to me by the board for advice, for mentorship, and they will remain private because it's not down to me to reveal their names.
No disrespect to Graham, I think some Rangers fans would like to see someone in to give them a lift for the Old Firm game.
Yeah, I mean, he's the under-20 coach, that's what he's been doing. He's been thrown into that, and I think he would handle maybe all the off-the-park stuff. When it comes to the actual crucial games and winning and losing, you can see visibly he's been in there such a short time, but great when you're winning, but when you have to handle 2 defeats, it's a different thing altogether. And I think maybe the supporters as well. I think the players themselves, would like somebody to walk through that dressing room door, somebody they know or somebody they've got a wee bit of respect for, and just give the whole place a lift.
Yeah, I suppose if you're looking for a win, the last team you want to come to Ibrox is St Johnstone, because they are a sticky team to play against. Tommy Wright, clearly one of the men quoted in the running for the Rangers manager's job, but he's got his own problems to face at St Johnstone. He's trying to see if he can get Danny Swanson on a new deal, and it's no further forward at the moment.
You can never tell what happens, but there's nothing to suggest. If Danny comes into me and said he doesn't want to be here, obviously that would be a problem for us, but that has never been indicated. So whilst he wants to stay, you could say that we are confident we can get a deal done.
Good player for them this season, Ruffy.
Yeah, he has, and it was good that the manager came out very quickly and told everybody why he wasn't playing at the weekend. It wasn't because of the contractual stuff, it was because of his fitness. But he is a big player for them, and you could see at the weekend there, particularly in the first half of that game, I thought they were terrible, and obviously the manager came out and said that's the worst 45 minutes he's ever had in the time that he's been at St Johnstone. So they'll have to play a lot better tomorrow night against Rangers, because they were dire at the weekend.
Yep, okay. Our bookroom guests are in the second half of the programme. We've got the Scottish Junior FA Secretary Tom Johnson and the Assistant Ian McQueen, who'll be joining us to conduct the quarter-final draw. It'll be interesting to see how your old club fares after the draw was conducted earlier today. We'll bring you that. Just before that, Hamilton against Aberdeen tonight, and also another game that caught my eye, Ruffy, Ayr United against Raith Rovers, which I think Jack Ross will almost certainly be keeping his eye on that. But first of all, Aki's against Aberdeen. The players are saying the battle's for second. I think second's in the bag for them.
Well, they seem to have changed it a lot from last year. Last year, when they were chasing Celtic, they were going to Hamilton and dropping points, and Hamilton were going to Pittodrie and taking points. this time this year, they're scraping out wins. At Kilmarnock, they look done and dusted, but they got to 3 points. I don't think they were that impressive at the weekend against Ross County. So, again, that'll be another pointer of where they are this year.
Yeah. Are they winning or are they losing?
Yeah, I think they'll just win that.
Ayr United Race Rovers?
Ayr United.
Ayr United. There you have it. Okay, with the Scottish Junior Cup quarter-final draw coming up in the next part of the programme, we thought we'd give you a little bit of Ruffy's success in that tournament and a question to see if you know the answer. Yeah, memories come flooding back, Ruffy, season 92-93, and you got to lift that famous old trophy.
It was fantastic. We'd been knocking on the door for a few years. The first 5 years I was there, we got to 5 semi-finals, which is incredible for a small place like New Cumnock. But we eventually did get there, and we had a wonderful day. And although I've been to 3 World Cups, it was a fantastic day for everybody concerned to see the whole community in New Cumnock with a smile on their face. They waited so long to get it, and it was a great day.
Yeah, you've been to 3 World Cups as well. God, I never knew that. It's something new on the programme. Do you still go down to New Cumnock just to walk through the streets?
I go down occasionally, yeah. There only is one street, so I tell a lie. There are lots of streets in New Cumnock.
Are you a legend in the
Well, I think the whole team are. You know, I think if you look at all the teams that are in the Cup, I mean, obviously a lot of them have won it before, but to not have won it is the quest to get it just once, you know, and that's what every junior club thrives for, that day out, and obviously winning it just caps a lot.
Yeah, okay then. Well, earlier today we had representatives from the Scottish Junior FA in to make the quarter-final draw. Welcome to the quarter-final draw for the Scottish Junior Cup. I'm Peter Martin, and I'm delighted to say joining me for the draw today we have the Secretary of the Scottish Junior FA, Tom Johnson, the Assistant Secretary, Ian McQueen, and I'm also delighted to welcome Alan Ruff to help me make the draw. Let me ask you first of all, Tom, we've got at this moment 9 teams in, still one tie to be determined, Maryhill or Linlithgow Rose, but what about the teams left in this draw?
There's a lot of calibre left there, Peter. You know, we've got a good east-west spread of teams as well. You know, Bonnyrigg Rose going very well in their league, and Kirkintilloch Rob Roy top of the West Super League. You know, so it's a strong last 9.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will show you now the numbers that you have to pay attention to. 1 Auchinleck Talbot, 2 Bonnyrigg Rose, 3 Gart Cairn, 4 Glenafton, 5 Kilwinning Rangers, 6 Kirkintilloch Rob Roy, 7 Sauchie, and 8, as we mentioned there, Maryhill or Linlithgow Rose. Ian, it's a draw eagerly anticipated, and of course I'm sure there's a number of people might be wanting to know who would consider themselves the favourites this season for the trophy here.
Well, I mean, as Tom alluded to, there's a lot of strong teams still left in the tournament. Auchinleck Talbot, serial winners, they're still there. Bonnyrigg Rose having a great season, knocked out of the Senior Scottish Cup by Hibs. I would think those 2, Kirkintilloch Rob Roy must be up there. Linlithgow are past winners. Kilwinning, obviously past winners as well. So there's a lot of quality in there still.
Yeah, and you will forgive me for mentioning this if you are a fan of every other team other than Glenafton. There's a bit of nostalgia attached to it for you, Ruffy. You managed to guide Glenafton to Scottish Junior Cup success, and they're still in there.
Yeah, we did, and as Ian touched on it, all these teams there will be looking forward to maybe getting to the final. It's a fantastic day for everybody. The guys put on a great day, and if you get there, the 2 teams that get there, the whole community joins in, and whatever town it is just empty for the whole day, and it's always very well attended. So all these teams will be hoping they can get there.
Yeah, and great story attached to it as well. You still have your bonus from winning the cup. It's still in the bank.
Well, you obviously don't know the owners of my club when we won there. I think it was I think we're still to see it.
Okay, let's not waste any more time, Ruffy. Basically, I'll draw out the home, and you can do the away. Is that fair?
Okay.
So first one to me, and it is number 1. Number 1, first out of the bag.
We have number 5.
Number 5, so it's Auchinleck Talbot against Kilwinning Rangers. Number 4, that's Glenafton.
We'll play number 7.
Number 7 is Socky. Number 8, and that is Maryhill Orland Lithgow Rose.
We'll play number 3.
Number 3 is Gartcairn. Certainly considered the new boys on the block. And the last one now, it's number 2 at home, which is Bonnyrigg Rose.
We'll play number 6.
And they will play Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. Tom, I've got to get your immediate reaction to that draw.
Couple of smashing ties here, Peter. Auchinleck v Kilwinning, an All Ayrshire tie, and Bonnyrigg v Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. You know, so I don't think we could have asked more than that. Yeah, and the new boys on the block, as you say, Gartcairn travelled to Maryhill or Linlithgow Rose, and they're going reasonably well just now. Gartcairn, you know, they knocked out Carluke in a replay at the weekend, and of course Ruffy managed to get a home tie for Glenafton.
Yeah, can't beat it, Ruffy. And of course, we're at that quarter-final stage. Now you're getting down to the exciting part where you think you're so close to this fantastic old trophy.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, you want a home tie, but certainly, as Tom said, Auchinleck versus Kilwinning will be fantastic. You know, there'll be a great turnout there. There's a lot of rivalry between the two sides there, and I think that's the one everybody will want to see initially.
Okay, that concludes the draw for the Scottish Junior Cup quarter-final. Those ties will be played on the 18th of March, kick-off at 2:30. To all the clubs involved, the best of luck in your endeavour to reach the semi-final. Thanks to Tom Johnson and Ian McQueen for helping us, and to Ruffy for helping me with the Scottish Junior Cup quarter-final draw. Yeah, that was conducted earlier this afternoon. So good luck to all the junior clubs involved in that, and good to see the Glenafton's former boss, Ruffy, thinking Bonnyrigg Rose for you, Ruffy, to win it.
I just think Bonnyrigg had a good run in the real Scottish Cup. And I think the experience, obviously, of playing against Hibs, although they get a bit of hammering, I believe they're a very, very good side. But I think all the teams that are in there, I fancy their chances on the day.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, games taking place tomorrow in the Scottish Premiership as well. Here's a look at what's on offer for you. You've got Dundee against Partick Thistle, I beg your pardon. Dundee have just actually announced their financial figures with losses of 530,000, still remaining with a turnover of 4 million. They take on Partick Thistle. It's Hearts, Ross County, Inverness, Caley Thistle, Celtic, and of course Rangers against St Johnstone. Hearts, they've got a new pitch in place when they take on Ross County, and Ian Cathrow's been mentioning and talking about the fact that some of the players have had discussions in the dressing room, which will remain private, but of course they're looking to get back on track after a difficult couple of weeks.
What we've allowed to happen through poor performances and poor results, and what was a poor week, a bad week for this football club, is that we've allowed people to question those things about us, and that's one of the things that hurts us most.
So the players have had a wee heart-to-heart, Ruffy.
Yeah.
Must do better.
Yeah, in my day when you had a heart-to-heart like that and the manager threw it open to the players, there was usually a fight. Usually, obviously, voices were raised and some voices were raised louder than others. But yeah, sometimes it's good to get it out in the open as long as it's under low-key and very sensible, and people are not pointing at people and making it very embarrassing.
Yeah, okay. That was Ruffy trying to be diplomatic about it. Why didn't you just say people point out who the culprits are that are letting the goals in? Simple as that. Just tell them, and then if there's fisticuffs, there's fisticuffs. That's what it's about. Inverness Cally Thistle against Celtic, of course. If you ask Brendan Rodgers, I think it still rankles with him that they drew up there at the Tulloch Stadium. But he's been very positive about this unbeaten run that Celtic are on.
Players weren't human. I would say we would never lose a game. But unfortunately they are. They're human. But what they've shown this season already is superhuman efforts, you know, to continue with the focus and concentration. 32
games. It's incredible, the run. And Inverness can at least say, if this goes undefeated all the way through the season, they managed to get a point off them.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Inverness manager will be using that to his advantage. You know, I say the last time they were up here, they scraped a draw, and let's see if it can happen again. But I think Celtic have improved dramatically since that day, so I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think Celtic will win eventually. Yeah,
just briefly, Effie Ambrose off to Hibs with Brian McLean as well. Good move for Neil Lennon?
Yeah, and I hope it does well for the player. You know, I think he has come under a lot of criticism, basically because he's made mistakes in vital games, and let's hope he has a good time with Hibs.
Okay, we wish them well. Thanks to Tom Johnson and Ian McQueen for coming in to conduct the Scottish Junior Cup draw. That's it from me and Ruffy. Join us tomorrow at 7 if you can.